For this first edition of the eSports World Cup, history is being made. The best teams from all over the world are battling for the largest prize money ever awarded in the history of eSports.
It's very impressive.
This is
eSports World Cup.
Previously at the eSports World Cup, one of the first highlights of the event was League of Legends, considered one of the highest profile games ever. The South Korean team, T1, led by Faker, beat the Chinese outfit Top Esports in what was a grueling final. During week 3, the final of Dota 2 was a showdown between the Canadian team Gaming Gladiators and Team Liquid. Gaming Gladiators eliminated any tension by recording a clean sweep, a clinical display which did not give the Dutch team any chance. It was total domination. Still a long way to go in the competition, so who is going to win the eSports World Cup in Riyadh? For a while, eSports may have been seen as a male-dominated profession, but as we've been hearing at the World Cup, women are breaking down barriers.
It's an interesting question when you talk about women in esports. When I was playing games, it was very casual, it wasn't competitive, it was just to have some fun with my dad. Whereas you look at a lot of the top-tier male professionals, they had older brothers to show them how it was done, and they had that real competitive nature instilled with them.
Opportunities for women in esports were at first limited, but the culture is changing.
I do believe the CEO, Saad Dosari, saw something in me when he decided, okay, so I'm gonna get a 34-year-old female Arab to lead my marketing department. So when someone believes in you that much, that means there's hope.
From the mainstream perspective, it's a very man territory, that only boys play games, which is untrue.
Esports is not a challenge to females. If they want it, they can actually dominate it, and it's pretty easy. Females, they're detail-oriented, so they would thrive at a certain level on esports or in gaming when they actually are passionate about it.
People will live in games because they knew that I'm a girl, just disconnected. I'm like, what? It's not like that anymore.
You have to have somebody to look up to and be like, oh, that lady's doing what I want to be doing. You need to have endorsement, so women should mentor and champion women who are climbing up or just starting. And it's about opportunity. It's about creating spaces where things are possible.
Men and women, they are really equal. It's a mouse, it's like PC, and it's your brain.
So I think now maybe the younger girls who are watching these tournaments, the girls, as I said earlier, coming with their families, hopefully, as long as they want to, that kind of competitive nature will be maybe a bit more instilled in them, and it might be a bit more accessible as well, because again, when I was growing up, gaming wasn't a thing for girls.
I went to the management and said, let's do an event for Women's Day in esports. And we just did an open invitation for girls to join. 300 girls showed up. It opened my eyes to knowing that girls were just looking for a safe space, somewhere where they can be themselves, where they can game.
We have a great example here this week at the Esports World Cup, where there's MLBB Women Tournament, a tournament specifically created for female players, massive prize pool, great hospitality, great accommodation. They're rolling with it. It's really, truly amazing. If that could exist for every game, that would be amazing.
We want to elevate esports to inspire the globe. Clubs can actually be leading clubs. I want the players to be icons of social media and to aspire the younger generation.
You just need to believe in yourself. That's the most important thing, because if you have a dream, you need to follow it.
From my perspective, I think it's just more of an environmental change, and I think we will see that kind of evolving, but it's obviously going to take some time for those girls to come through.
Smart, Amiga and Press won the first women's title at the eSports World Cup.
5 years from now, I would say that we would look back at today and say, well, we thought that we've reached the top. We're not even close.
The next game in our focus at the eSports World Cup, Counter-Strike 2, otherwise known as CS2, and Jasmine Kanuga's been explaining what it's all about.
And here it is in the Amazon Arena itself. It is finally time for us to almost dive into some CS2. Well, what exactly is CS2? Well, CS2 was actually only recently released in September of 2023. The game prior to that was indeed CSGO, which was released in 2012. And let me tell you now, all of us CS gamers have been waiting an incredibly long time for this release. CS is a 5 versus 5 FPS or first-person shooter game, and I'm super excited for the level of competition during this tournament. We've got some strong contenders in the form of Team Spirit as well as Team Vitality and a bunch of others as well. With a $1 million prize pool on the line, it is well and truly anybody's game. You know what? Let's go ahead and dive into some CS action.
Another one! There were prestigious guests in attendance at the CS2 competition. Brazilian football star Neymar was in the arena to watch his team play. The forward, who now plays in Saudi Arabia for Al Hilal, is a co-owner of eSports team Furia. A big gamer himself, Neymar cheered on his team, but the Brazilians finished in 5th. Another footballer in attendance was the Portugal and Liverpool forward Diogo Jota, who owns Lunar Galaxy, a team not present in Saudi Arabia, though. Among the big favourites were Virtus Pro, the team led by Evgeny Lebedev. They finished joint 3rd, but it wasn't all about the result for Lebedev.
I was surprised today. It was more people, and I could feel the support from fans, and it was nice. It feels amazing, and I hope it will be more people, and more people come here to watch eSports World Cup. So yeah, it's nice.
Ahead of the grand final, Diogo Jota made his prediction.
I'll be at the arena game for this weekend. I watched yesterday the first semi-final, which G2 won, and today I'm expecting a good game, and sometimes I watch it at home as well. I have a few friends that they really love Counter-Strike, so yeah, hopefully a great game today.
Who's going to win?
I met the guys of G2 yesterday, so my heart will say for them to win, but I know Navi won the last major, and they can still win, of course. So I want a tight match. That's all I want.
For this CS2 final, the Ukrainian-owned Navi took on the German-based team G2. Navi could count on its new recruit, Finnish star Alexi B, who was taking on his old employers. G2 struck first, picking up the first map, Ancient, in a close overtime, secured through plays from Monosi. But after Navi bounced back, beating G2 on both Nuke and Inferno. Perhaps the biggest factor in the victory was Alexi B's play calling, which was immaculate throughout. As a former G2 player himself, Alexi B seemed to have an intuition about how their opponents would set up. Additionally, every member of Navi stepped up. Alexi B continued his undefeated streak against his old team and now has 7 wins in a row.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen! Navi reigns supreme at the eSports World Cup. It's Alexi B keeps the curse alive.
A huge victory for Navi, the Ukrainian team picking up $400,000 in prize money. Video games are more present than ever in society. On a global scale, the number of people playing video games is reaching record levels, with around 3 billion players worldwide. Research suggests annual market growth is almost 18%.
Esports and gaming in the past few years was one of the increasing or growing industries around the world. So for that, all of the elements out there increase the probability of a success investment to the local audience, to the regional market, and also internationally.
So for sponsors and companies, being a partner of the eSports World Cup is attractive.
This huge gaming esports event will help our sales as well, and not only for the sales, but it's also helpful for the brand awareness to the customer, that how good our Ultra Gear is good for the esports players.
The sponsoring in EWC is crucial for Honor, as it is a very important platform to showcase Honor's commitment to gaming and Honor's technology to gamers.
Companies are recognizing that gaming and esports are ways of finding new markets among younger generations, as a way of finding fresh audiences. It's especially lucrative for brands which specialize in technology which use streams for gaming on mobile phones.
This partnership brings to the football smartphone a new version of the popular game, which is adapted better to the larger screen in football smartphone, and the global debut of 120 FPS at a higher resolution, delivering the experience unseen like before.
Gaming is also giving tech companies a chance to try new things.
We are actually promoting the LG Ultra Gear, which is a gaming monitor brand of LG Electronics. So we are on the stage of development. We are getting the survey from the amateur games and also for the pro players. And then we are trying to satisfy the pro players mostly. So we are trying to follow up what they want really.
As we saw earlier, esports also attracts big-name celebrities, including footballing royalty in David Beckham, Neymar, and Premier League star Diogo Jota.
There was the pandemic, and we had all had a lot of free time to think about stuff, and I always enjoyed it to play. And by that time, I just thought, why not start a team? I only have 3 titles, so I still have a chance for FC. PUBG is here, and Rocket League, unfortunately, they didn't make it. But yeah, of course, this is like the pinnacle, and we want to be involved in this stage.
But as well as interest in big-name investments, there's a need to get the stories out there.
Quand on gagne en 2015, on a
we
beaucoup
won
de
in
médias qui nous
2015,
contactent.
lots of media
Mais pour
contacted
des
us, but for micro stories. Now, when you look a little more broadly, you can look at where our Danish or Australian colleagues have started to win and have an ERA or CS. They've had enormous media coverage. The Minister of Sports came to welcome them at the airport. It's getting a lot more coverage, at least in their country. It's as big as sport. Let's hope the inaugural eSports World Cup will take professional gaming up a level.
I believe this esports World Cup will be the game changer. Like, it's just the beginning of a stage, I believe. And I think we can grow together more.
The EWC is definitely a one game changer, and we think this is one of the most significant events in the esports history.
Game changer, the phrase. That's also for the players and teams.
It is absolutely game changer. From our perspective, this festival or World Cup gave us an opportunity to increase the number of rosters. EWC gives that opportunity to us to showcase our abilities here. So this is definitely a game changer, and we are happy that we are part of this.
It's an absolute game changer at the moment for all eSport clubs. We're lucky enough to have a competition with huge prize money for the players. In any case, a good part of it goes to the players. That's what we want to win for, because this money is going to help us develop in a much easier way than simply going out and looking for investors or sponsors.
I think that global esports gets more financial sustainability and an opportunity to plan for the future. Not for only upcoming few years, but to have vision of what esports could be in 10 years.
Week 6 of the competition and another grand final. This time, it's a video game which goes back generations, Street Fighter. Initially released in 1987, it truly is a classic.
Street Fighter 6 is actually like the granddad of fighting games, right? It's actually a one-on-one fighting game competition where you have a variety of characters with a set of rules, and pretty much players just duke it out depending on the character and those specific rules being played.
The Street Fighter 6 competition was one of the big-ticket events, and fans were excited to see how the 37-year-old game would play out.
What's a Street Fighter in one word?
Nostalgia to me. I grew up playing Street Fighter with my family, so...
Okay, I will go excitement, friends, and fun. I'd say it's a competition.
Oh man, enjoyment. That's all I can say. Enjoyment to the max.
Competitive, very competitive, and very enjoyable.
I'd say enjoyment and the thrill of, fighting games, basically.
There are fairly simple rules with characters who've become as famous as the game itself.
The first person to knock out the other person essentially wins. And just that rule has expanded for so long, and it's just so easy to get into and so easy to follow that it's got himself like a 6th expansion up until this point. So again, being able to follow Street Fighter, very, very easy. It just comes from a very simple rule of beat up the other person, right? You could use it in any way possible. You could do that in any way possible by throwing out their special moves, throwing out normal attacks, heck, even jumping around if you need to. It's by any means necessary.
Street Fighter has been around for a long time, but for Vicious, the passion has continued.
If there is a Street Fighter 20, call me up. I'll probably be strolling in on my wheelchair or a walker. I'm super down for that.
Street Fighter is so iconic in Japan that the country's ambassador to Saudi Arabia was in attendance. Another prestigious guest was Japanese music star Yoshiki, a big eSports fan who also composes music for games.
It was kind of amazing, The music is one of the important part of the game. It's going to grow together, like music industry as well as the gaming industry. This is my first time came to Saudi Arabia. It's just so amazing to see how they are building this very futuristic, very innovative.
The atmosphere for the semi-finals was electric. It pitted 3 Japanese players against the 1 Chinese player, the famous Zhao Hai. In the first all-Japanese semi-final, Kawano beat Tachikawa to everyone's surprise.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kawano with the patience and the big perfect, and he's dead.
Kawano is in the grand finals, y'all.
By contrast, there were no shocks in the second semi-final. Zhao Hai showed all his talent against Jigachi-kun. And so, the final was set. The arena was full, creating an incredible noise. Even Zhao Hai's wife looked nervous in the stands. But at 35, Zhao Hai is the Street Fighter star. He dropped just 2 rounds to Kawano in the final and showed his class.
Makes the combo, which he will. eSports World Cup champion!
This was probably the most thing I've enjoyed in my life. One of the better days in my life, that's for sure.
I'm blown. My mind's blown. I think nothing can top this. I don't think even Evo can top this, honestly. This was crazy.
It was an amazing event. I mean, we got to root for the guys, for the players, for the event, and it was really great. Great atmosphere here.
Zhao Hai, which translates as little boy, has grown up to become Street Fighter World Champion at the age of 35.
I've win too much, but maybe Street Fighter is too hard, too difficult. This time in Korea, in the EWC, I can win the champion. Wow, it's so wonderful, so amazing, yeah. It's the best time for my life, yes. And now I'm 35. Many people say, I can't win anymore. And the difficult game, but I proved myself.
After 6 weeks of competition, Team Falcons lead the way by a huge margin ahead of a tight battle for second and third, with T1 sitting ahead of Team Liquid. But several teams are stuck on the same number of points, all desperate to finish in the top three. The battle is far from over.